Hi guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Inside Makeup Podcast, where we talk about everything makeup and beauty related. I'm your host Gabri, and I'm so excited about today's guest because she's somebody that I've been following since I first got into the industry myself. She's a bridal makeup artist with 10 plus years of experience and also a content creator. I'm really thrilled to introduce Manisha from the London Beauty Stylist.
Hello.
Thank you so much for coming today.
That's all right. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Oh my God. Do you know, when I was preparing for today, I was thinking, I don't even know how you got into makeup. Like, what's your story?
Oh, okay.
Because
yeah.
you do it full time, and that's not easy because I do it full time. So,
you don't do it full time.
I do.
You do it full time. Yeah,
I do.
It's hard when you do it full time. But so how did I get into it? I actually was a little bit older when I got into makeup. So I was 30, actually. I'm 40 now, so I was 30 when I got into makeup. Yeah. I did a course a couple of years before that, and I just did nothing with it. Like, you know,
like a makeup course.
A lot of people do that. A lot of people do makeup courses. They do nothing with it, and then next thing you know, they're just like doing an office job, which is exactly what happened to me. I used to be an IT consultant. God. Yeah, I used to be an IT consultant, and that was really good and successful for me at the time.
Yeah.
But it got to the point where I was like, I'm really bored, and I don't really enjoy doing this. I kind of fell into it. And I've always been really artistic. I've always been into like drawing and graphic design and all of the artsy things, right? And I just really loved makeup and beauty and everything to do with all of that stuff. Like, you know, like in year 10 when you do what's it called? Like work experience.
Oh my God,
Mine was in a beautician's and a hairdresser's. The hairdressers were horrific, which is probably why I've got PTSD and I don't do hair.
I wanted to ask you about that actually.
It was horrific. They were really mean to me, but the beautician side was really good. But it wasn't quite what I wanted. It was. But at the time, I didn't even know makeup was a job. Back then, this was when I was in like year 10. So then, one day I just thought, do you know what? I'm just going to try it. Yeah. Why not? Why don't I try it? Like, what's the big deal? So I set up a Instagram. I set up the website. I was racking my brain trying to think of a name because I didn't want to be Manisha MUA because I felt like that's too generic.
Okay, yeah.
And also it's probably taken, right? It's probably taken by someone else.
That's true.
Which it was. So I was like, okay, what can I come up with? And I thought, I'm going to be in London. At the time, honestly, I thought that I would offer other beauty services, not just makeup.
What do you mean?
So like, you know, lashes, eyebrows. I thought maybe I can train in all these other things. Yeah. So that's why I said the London Beauty Stylist.
Oh, fine.
And I thought beauty stylist is like a way of saying you're styling your beauty.
Yeah.
Rather
no, I get
than
it.
styling your clothes, right?
Yeah.
So that's why I came up with that name. But yeah, that's how I got into it. And then I set up my Instagram, and actually I think that was the main way that I got myself out there. That was my marketing platform at the time. This was like, you know, 2014, 2015 times.
Yeah.
And
oh my God, Instagram's changed so much.
Like that was back in the day where it's like, you know, just little pictures and just, everything was like with a filter on it, and back then, so I just, you know, I used my sister, my cousins, anyone who would let me be their model. I would just do their makeup, and I'd post before and after photos. And then I just built up my platform from there.
Did you start full time, or were you doing?
I pretty much I started full time, but that's because, like, in a way, I was lucky that I had my salary from my IT days. I still had a lot of money saved up, so I was like, I can afford to try and do this. And at the same time, I was building another business as well, which is a product-based business.
Oh, so
the product-based business and the makeups thing they're both happening at the same time.
Oh, fine.
So at some points, I was like, you know, when people are like, "What do you do?" and I'm like,
"What do you say?"
I'm kind of like starting up makeup, and I'm kind of starting up a product business. So it was like everything was very new at that point. So that's how I started in it, and I just kind of ran with it, and I thought, let's just see how it goes. And I started doing it. I started realizing that I actually really enjoy it, and I'm actually quite good at it. So it just kind of rolled from there.
So just from that one course that you did.
Yeah, I did other courses. I've done other courses over the years, but that course wasn't very good. I feel like when it comes to makeup, it's about practice.
Oh my God, that's so important.
And I think that the more you do something, the more you learn, right? So that's why, like, I think, you know, having so many years have done it now, I feel like I have a lot of like knowledge of makeup and textures of makeup and skincare how to prep skin and all that kind of stuff it's all built up over years, right?
But did you start with, did you do like what we call party clients, or did you just go in with bridal only?
I did get my first bridal quite early on, because you know, like when you go to those like laser hair removal places, the lady there, she was like, oh yeah, by the way, I'm getting married. And I was like, oh cool. And I was telling her, like, you know, we're just chatting, and like I was like, oh, you know, I've started makeup. And she messaged me afterwards, she's like, by the way, would you like to do my wedding makeup? And I was like,
how early on was this?
Like really early, like probably maybe like a couple of months in. I'd done like an Asian bridal course to like refresh myself, and that included hair as well. So I did actually do her hair. I didn't know what the hell I was doing, and she was so sweet. But I actually took my sister with me to that booking because I wanted like some help, right? Some support help. Afterwards, when we came out of the booking, she was like, I don't know how you do that. I don't know how you're gonna, like, that was so stressful. She actually said that to me. I remember her saying, for her, because the client was really calm, but then towards the end, as we were like, you know, wrapping up, like I was setting her journey and all that kind of stuff, that's when she started to like panic, like she was panicking. And obviously it's quite stressful for the person that's there as well, everyone else that's there as well. But at the time, even then I knew, like, don't show any kind of stress to her, because obviously that's going to translate even more. So, you know, you can never show that. Like, you have to stay calm. So afterwards, when my sister was like, I found that so stressful, like, I can't believe it. I don't know how you're doing that. And I was like, oh, well, I don't know.
But you didn't find it that stressful?
I was fine.
That's how you know you're made to be a makeup artist.
Like, oh,
because it can get stressful.
She was like, no way, I would never do that. And she was just sitting there on the bed watching.
Oh, she didn't help.
She didn't help. Maybe a little bit. I can't remember. It was so long ago. But so I did start with mostly party clients, but I was able to build up my bridal portfolio quite quickly. And then I was like, okay, let's try and transition now into more of a bridal artist. I just prefer it. Some people prefer party, and I just prefer bridal, to be honest.
There is I do both, and I think there is a huge difference between doing party makeup and bridal. But I think now with social media, it's very tricky, because I feel like party clients want to look like brides.
That's one of the reasons, like, I'll be honest, that's one of the reasons why I kind of stopped doing it as well, because I found that I would do a bridal client and they'd be like really trusting, and like they'd be like, you know, you do what you want. Like, obviously there's some feedback and like some, you know, please can I don't like this, or I don't like that, or like I love this, can you do it like this? There's a little bit of that, but most of the time it's like, you do your thing, I trust you. Whereas sometimes I find with party clients, they're not as trusting sometimes, and they're a bit more nitpicky.
They're very picky.
Well, if I'm going to be nitpicked, that I think one of the last straws was it was actually I can't remember, should I say it? It was a previous bride of mine, actually.
Okay.
So it was like another wedding. It was like a close family wedding, and it was like 3:00 in the morning. Went to the house. Her mum made me change her lipstick, I think about 5 times, and then she went back to the first one. And I was like, oh, I'm never taking these clients ever again. I just can't. Like, I can never, like, they did ask me again after that, and I was like, no, I'm sorry, I can't. And then after that, I thought, no, I need to start to transition out of doing party makeup, because I woke up at like 2:00 in the morning to do this. And then it was like 2 people's makeup, I think, 3 maybe. And yeah, there was just so many demands, and it was a really bad atmosphere as well, because the hairstylist was really late, I remember, and they were really mad at the hairstylist. They were making comments at her. And I was just like, oh, this is really awkward.
Oh my God.
I just find with bridal, you don't always have that. Like, it's always mostly a good atmosphere.
Yeah,
you know, everyone's happy and excited.
People leave you alone.
Yeah.
When you're doing a party client, they're always getting up, or someone's calling them, or this and that. Whereas when you do a bride, you're in a private room on your own. Maybe it's the mum or the dad or the sister or brother that comes in, or the best friend. And they're really nice to you as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So it makes a huge difference.
And you get to take your time.
Yeah.
I like to, you know, I do bridal makeup. I can take an hour and a half to 2 hours to do bridal makeup. Yeah. So I like that. I like to be able to take my time, all the details, and like make sure I've done, like, haven't left anything out. It's stressful when you have to like rush, and with party clients, you have to spend. You can't spend as long on them, really. No,
and like sometimes I end up dipping into a bit of a bridal skin prep, and I need to like stop myself. Like, no, this is a party client.
It's like, I find it really hard to distinguish, right? So if you're doing sometimes if I do party clients, I end up doing the same thing as I would on a bride, but it's just that it's a party client, and I'm like, well,
and the price is different.
Yeah, I do like a lot of different skin prep, but I feel like if I don't do those, then is it going to compromise the look looks overall? And so I'm like, well, you're still like, that's the other thing about, you know, when people are like, oh, but my wedding is really small, I don't really need that much, or it's a civil wedding, not an Indian wedding, so, you know, should the price be different? I'm like, I don't really understand that, because I do the same steps. It's just that sometimes the colours change.
Or the look's different, that's it. But it doesn't mean your skin prep is changing.
You know, for like an Asian bridal, you might put gold and like, you know, like warm tones and reds and stuff like that. But for a civil wedding, you might put like cool tones and pinks and a bit more sheerer colours, but you're still doing the same thing, really.
Yeah.
Except for, I think, you're not setting a dupatta and all that kind of stuff, and the jewellery, and there's a little bit less to do.
Well, actually, I wanted to ask you why you don't do hair.
Why I don't do hair. So maybe, now I'm thinking about it, maybe the work experience that I had, like, how old were you in year 10? Like 13? It was awful. Yeah. I had a really bad, so that was hairdressing, and I was interested in hairdressing at one point, because I just, again, it was like another beauty thing that I really enjoyed doing. And then I did a course, like an Asian bridal course, and in the hair section I really struggled, to the point where like the trainer was like, I thought you were going to cry at one point. He was like laughing about it, but he was like, I thought you were going to cry. And I was like, no. But I was really I was getting really frustrated with myself, because he was quickly doing the hairstyle, and then I was having to like redo it. And I thought, I can't learn like that. Like I'm like a step-by-step person, but that's how it was done. And I was like, I can't do this. I did then do another course, a couple of,
just on hair?
Yeah, a hair course a couple of years later, thinking, yes, this will be it. It was like a week, I think. I was like, yep, I'm going to do this course. I'm going to know everything. And I think that's one of the dangers of doing courses. People think that if you do a course, you're going to come out of it as like this fully fledged makeup artist, hairstylist. Happened to me too. I thought, I'm going to come out of this course and I'm going to know everything about hair. I'm going to be able to do bridal hair. I'm going to be able to do it all. But you have to then practice. If you don't practice, then you're not going to get anywhere. Exactly. And that's what happened. I did the course. It was a couple of grand, like, you know how they are, like, and I got to the end of it and I was like, still don't know how to do hair. Not saying it, the teacher was really, really good. He was amazing, but I couldn't pick it up. I don't know why. I just, like, if you look at my own hair, like I do the bare minimum with my hair. Like I like straighten it and that's it. Whereas like with makeup, I do quite a lot. So I think I was just I was already previously knowledgeable about makeup, and so it was my comfort zone, I think. Earlier this year, I did think about, like, do I want to, like, learn, like, basic hair again, just to help, like, you know, like, sometimes you just need to, you know, like, I've got a destination wedding coming up, and I could have done, she was, like, struggling with her hair, so, like, she didn't know what to do, and then she was like, she got someone locally, and then she was like, can you just do it? And I was like, no, not, like, maybe, but no, probably not. She ended up hiring someone, so that's fine. But
I guess it's nice to know the basics, like you said, because sometimes the hairstylist leaves early or something, so you can sometimes just fix them up at the end.
Tweak it, or like, like there's been situations before where I've done the bride and they haven't hired like an Asian hairstylist, sorry. So they don't know how to do the tikka setting. They don't know how to do the dupatta setting. Sometimes the bride is showing them, like, this is how you do it, like, this is how you fold it.
That's tricky.
And so, like, you know, in those situations, it's good to have that. And I do have that knowledge because obviously I have done, firstly, I've been doing bridal for a long time, so I watch the hairstylist usually doing the hair,
because you work alongside the hairstylist, not beforehand.
Exactly. A lot of the time I do. I prefer to, but it's up to the hairstylist as well. So I'm normally there watching what they're doing. Usually the makeup's done at this point, and I'm just I love watching the stage where they put the dupatta on. It's just, I love that. Like, it's just like, that's bridal.
It's the finished look.
The dupatta on, it's like the bridal. Yeah. So I love seeing that. So I always watch it. So I know basics of what to do, but I thought, you know, people's styles are getting a lot more simple as well. I don't know if you know. Like,
they've changed so much.
Yeah. So like people before used to have like really structured, like really solid hairstyles.
Or like now very intricate at the back.
Yeah. Now it's becoming very soft and chic. And I'm like, maybe that, I mean, like, it might be like that. Makeup where it looks really simple, but it's probably not. Like, it's probably the same with hair.
It's harder because you have to make it look so clean.
Yes, yeah.
That's the tricky bit. Yeah. But I do enjoy doing those hairstyles a lot more than the more intricate ones.
The like old school kind of style.
Yeah. But because also I find that sometimes with the dupattas, you can't really see through them. So you put them on and you can't see the hairstyle that's taken you probably 2 hours to do.
True. Yeah. I'll never understand why people go for those intricate hairstyles and it's like, you can't see it.
And also the pins.
Fair enough. Like,
yeah.
Even I've done brides where the hairstylist has said, oh, well, I'm going to do this design. The bride's a bit like, why? And she's like, well, you can still see the hair through. Like, she's like, oh, yeah, you can. Like, so those little details that do, like, sometimes you can, if you've got like more of a net dupatta, you can see
then
through.
You can see it. And also you can add like the flower. I love putting flowers
so
in the hair. Yeah. It just makes it a bit more bridal again. And it just elevates the hair, especially if it's a simple, those like sleek low buns.
Yeah, they're beautiful. I love
and then
those.
Just adding it at the top. Oh, it looks really, really pretty.
Yeah.
So you might end up doing hair at some point then. That's exciting.
I don't know. The thing is, one of the reasons why I could have done hair, because I did the courses, I could have just been like, you know what, I'll do a bun in your hair. But I just feel like if you have bad hair or bad makeup, it can ruin the overall look. And so I prefer to just take a step back. I'm not great at hair. So I'm just like, look, I'd rather have a specialist, someone who knows what they're doing with hair, like do it. I mean, I think it's like, if I practiced, I probably could, but I don't know if I have the interest. That's the thing.
I think that's what it is. Because to do hair, you really have to enjoy doing it.
Yeah.
Because hair sometimes does not listen. And you can't get stressed in those situations. You've got to, like, I find, like, when that happens to me, I'm like, okay, cool. Like, I find it interesting. I'm like, all right, let's fix this.
Yeah.
But I know some people get really frazzled in those situations.
Imagine, like that. Like when I speak to some hairstylists, they're like, it would be my worst nightmare if someone asked me to do their makeup. Like, what would you do?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, what color would you put on them? Blah, blah. And I'm like, I feel the same about hair. Like, what if their hair was really thin? Or what if their hair was like really thick? Or what if their hair was really frizzy? Like, I don't know, like what to do.
And people are very picky about their hair.
And
more than makeup, I think.
I feel like they expect something that maybe is a little bit hard to do because, let's say, for example, they've got thinner hair. And sometimes people are like, some hairstylists I've heard, I've had this from brides where they've said, the hairstylist keeps focusing on the fact that I've got thin hair. And I'm like, just deal with it. Just deal with it. You do what you need to do to make my hair look thick. And it's like, okay, but sometimes you have thin hair. Like, there's only I don't know, maybe there's only so much you can do. Like with extensions, yes, stuff like that. But
these are conversations that you just have to have beforehand. Like if somebody doesn't book a trial with me, I'll still video call them because I just, not even just for the makeup, more for the hair, to be honest. I want to see what their hair's like. I want to see what they want from the hair. And that's the time that I'm very honest with them as well, because there's only so much that extensions can do. You put extensions from here, but then from here it's a bit tricky.
Yeah, exactly.
And then sometimes what I've done is for people who do have very thin hair here, I'll add a half head wig into their hair, but then there's weight involved in that and they don't want the weight. So it's like,
it's getting that balance. It's like,
it's hard.
It's really
I
hard,
find hair a lot more trickier than makeup.
Really?
Yeah. But I love it.
Oh, that's good.
I don't think I'll ever
though.
stop doing hair.
I think that's the thing, is if it's good, if you enjoy it, then why not?
I do. I love doing everything from start to finish, I think. I have been booked for just makeup before, just hair as well, and I love it because then you get to meet other artists.
Yeah, definitely.
Because when you do everything on your own, you don't get to meet anyone really.
I love the in the mornings when I'm doing a bridal makeup and there's a hairstylist there, I love the sort of like banter and back and forth that we have as well. Like there's a bit of chat. Like all three of us are chatting and like
atmosphere.
Having a good old laugh in the mornings, like 3 o'clock in the mornings, whatever they are. But I like that about
sometimes
it as well. Earlier. I know, sometimes earlier. That's just ridiculous. Like I think my earliest has been 2.
Okay, that's not bad.
It's not too bad.
But then you have to wake up. You have to factor that in as well.
At like 1. No, not even 1 really. Yeah, no, not 1. Like 12:30.
Yeah.
So.
Oh my god, how do you do it with the little one?
So, it is a bit more difficult for sure. I think I had Irene in October 2022, so I went back to work in February.
Oh wow.
So but I didn't go back to work fully. It wasn't like, oh my God, like I went back to work fully like fledged. It was like I had that, I think I had one bride in February, because you know, you get them brides that are like, I've been waiting until I get engaged so that I can book you. And I'm like, oh, okay. Aaron was 4 months old at that point. And I was like, I really can't say no. So I was like, okay. I think, you know, touch wood, I'm quite lucky. He is quite a good sleeper. So like, you know, and I have good support around me as well. I think you have to have that. Like my husband is really good with him. He looks after him on the weekends. Sometimes he's a bit like you're away all weekend. And I'm like, it's just the way it is though, isn't it? It is hard.
It's our job.
It's really hard to balance, because this is what I do. Like, you know what I mean? Like I don't know what to tell you. Like sometimes my husband is like, because he works like 9 to 5. He's got like an office job.
Oh wow.
So he works like Monday to Friday, and Saturday, Sunday, if I'm working, he's like, it's not even about like that he doesn't get to see me. It's more about the fact that he's like, this is supposed to be my downtime, and now I'm like having to look after our son. He's really lucky there, because my in-laws don't live too far away, so he always goes to someone's. He goes to his sister's house or his parents' house, so he's got someone to go to. Whereas I don't. My parents live quite far away, so they're not really around as much. And my sister lives far away, so it's like I've got my in-laws nearby, and they really help. So like today, for example, they're going to pick him up from nursery, and I get a bit of downtime. So it's you have to have the support, I think. Otherwise, it is difficult. And then you've got that balancing act of like, okay, but I can't work every weekend, because especially as he gets older, I think.
But do you find it hard to say no to bookings?
Yeah, I do. I do find it hard, because it's like that FOMO, you know?
Yeah.
So like, like I normally don't say no. I'll normally will say yes, because it's like sometimes it's like they're local, or like it's like in the morning, and then you've got the rest of the day. Yeah. But having said that, if you've got a really early morning booking, I feel like I'm almost like I've got jet lag. It's like a jet lag feeling when I get home, so I can't function unless I have a naps afterwards, and then I'm, for the afternoon part of the day, I'm fine. So it's not like the whole day if I've got bride in the morning. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Yes, if like maybe I might have to say no if like it's like 3 brides in one day, then I'm like, okay, no, I'm not going to do that. Like maybe 1 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon. I have a lot of brides who have 2 events in one day.
Yeah. That's tough.
I end up getting a lot of those, because I think that's a lot of like the Gujarati market is like they have like the same event. Yeah, they have 1 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon. So in the way that kind of suits me, because I'm like, I get to go home sometimes, as long as it's not too far away. I get to go home and then come back, and I do the second look, and then I can go home again.
When you do the second look, do you get them to take their makeup off, or do you actually go on top of what you've done?
Majority of the time I get them to take their makeup off, like completely. Like I use like a cleansing balm, because it's actually really like, you know, a lot. It's going to take a lot of makeup to take it off. So cleansing balm, and just like go in on it and just get rid of everything, and then start from afresh. Because a lot of the time they've been crying. You know, mainly
creasing happens. By the way,
creasing happens. I mean, there are times where they come back and I'm like, oh, your makeup looks better than like
yeah,
because it's had time to like marinate.
I love that word.
Yeah, it's had time to marinate. I'm like, wow, actually, didn't need to change your makeup. But we obviously do factor in the time for that. So, you know, even if they're really late, I still redo their makeup from scratch.
Oh, wow.
Unless they're really, really late. Otherwise, unless they're really late and they're not flexible with changing the time. Because if they're late, then I do say to them, you're going to have to push back your entrance, or something's going to have to push back, because you're late now to us.
You have to be honest.
So yeah, I'm always honest, and in that situation they normally say, okay, that's fine, we did have a little bit of a buffer.
Okay,
the buffer. So then I'm like, oh, okay, like there's me like stressing, like sometimes I'm in the actual room and I can see them having their photo shoot, and I'm like, oh my
hurry
God.
up.
I'm like knocking on the window. I can't even call them. They don't have their phone on them.
Oh my God, those situations.
I'm like cursing the photographers at that point. I'm just like, these photographers, they don't know what they're
doing. They always say to us in the mornings, make sure the bride is ready on time, don't make us late. And it's like, but also you have to realise that sometimes the person's not woken up on time, and we've started late, but we still get the blame.
Have you ever had that where someone's like not woken up or something?
I get it quite often.
Really?
And the thing is, it's a bit, I don't know if this has ever happened to you, but I've had incidents where people have like weirdos have like come to my door, like to my window, my car window, like 2-3 in the morning.
Oh my God.
So I'm like, in my contract I always say please have parking available, and I'm not just saying that, it's because I've had weird people follow me, I've had weird people knock on my window, like it is 2-3 in the morning.
Yeah,
like what do you kind of expect as well?
Oh my God, that is actually scary. Did you know what as well, that the scariest thing is, right, is that I've only started driving this year. So I started driving in May. Yeah, so this whole time I've been doing makeup. I did not drive. I only started learning to drive after I had Arin. And we moved to Ivor, which is like dead, like there's nothing there. So I was like, I need to learn to drive.
So how are you getting to bookings?
I used to get Ubers, and then this is why this is so scary, because I used to get an Uber in the morning and they'd drop me off. Sometimes they'd drop me off because, you know, like in the night you can't see the door numbers.
No.
So sometimes they'd drop me off and I'd be like, I can't, it's not the right place.
That's dangerous.
Yeah, so I'm so glad that that's such a weight off my mind now, because luckily I never had anything like that where, you know, someone knocked on my window. But sometimes I'd, like, say for example, like the house was like 10 doors down, they'd drop me earlier because it was on the Google Maps, it would say like, oh, it's around here somewhere. So I would have to then like figure out, like by Google mapping, like my way to their house.
Glad you drive.
Yeah,
that's really dangerous.
Scary. Yeah, and like when you say that, I'm like, oh my God, like I actually got quite lucky with that, nothing like that ever happening to me, because you hear all sorts of stories. Like the scary one is like people's kits going missing as well, like, or like getting stolen from their car. That scares me.
I do not leave my kit in my car at all.
No,
not even for 5 minutes. I don't.
Wow.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah, definitely. Especially with all the equipment we need nowadays, like cameras and I don't have a camera, but like tripods and like lighting. Lighting's so expensive.
Do you take a big ring light to your bookings?
So I've got a really small light. Like I've actually got a light that has like what's it called? A suction thing on the back of it.
Oh,
it's got a suction thing, so you can suction it onto anything. Like you could put it onto here. You could put it onto a window. You could put it on.
That's
like,
amazing.
As long as that's solid. You could put it on a lamp. Like I mean, not lamp, but like, you know, like any
solid
surface. Yeah. Normally windows, you can suction it onto it. Sometimes I put it on a mirror, so it's like, sometimes I'm blinding the hairstylist.
That's so handy.
Yeah, it's really handy. So that light was super. It's called the makeup light. It's really expensive.
Oh, okay.
It's really expensive, but I decided to invest in it this year because I was like, I don't want to be carrying these lights. Those lights, that's what normally people have. They're so heavy.
The panel lights,
they're really heavy.
Or even the newer ring lights.
Yeah,
they're huge.
Yeah, so I don't take a ring light with me anymore. I just take that little. It's like that big. It's like the size of that. It's quite light, but it's got a good amount of light. Yeah, they are good, but they're so expensive. I don't know if they're worth it.
How much was it?
It was like, for the both of them, I got two, so there's like two, but I only take one with me normally. It was, I think, as a set, they were like £600 or something. Yeah, it was super expensive, but it's supposed to mimic daylight and all this stuff. And I thought, okay,
is it good?
It is good, but I think sometimes you still need another light because they're not bright. They're not that bright. So like these are really bright.
Right? The newer ones, yeah.
These are really bright. I've got these in my studio when I'm doing like content.
Yeah,
like I have these types of lights.
Yeah, these are super powerful, but they're just so like you have to have them on a tripod.
Yeah,
which is really annoying.
They're really heavy as well, so then you have to take a tripod with you and stuff. So that's why that one is quite good. You can use that one on a tripod, but I didn't buy the tripod because I was like,
it's one thing at a time. And also, do you find that when you go to these manor houses, they don't have lifts?
That is my
worst
nightmare. I know, and that's why like I actually keep my kit quite light.
Yeah,
I've become very good at like mixing shades and like.
Do you depot? Oh my God,
I do depot. Yeah. I love watching depotting videos.
Oh, same.
My God,
all the rug videos as well.
The what?
I know you watch the rug washing videos.
Oh, I love those.
That
was my pregnancy thing. Like, I loved what I tried to watch one the other day, and I was like a bit like,
doesn't hit into
this? I don't know why. Like, I was really into them when I was pregnant. I think I had too much time on my hands then. But funny. Yeah, so what was I saying? Yeah, so depotting. I've had to become really good at depotting. Or like when you have a consultation with someone, or like even if it's a video consultation or you've had a trial with them, I'm like, okay, I know what I need for this person. I'm going to take out the stuff that I don't need because I know what I've used on them for the trial, or like if we've had a trial or a video consultation, we know what we need. So I've started to take things out, like because those stairs, especially when they're like spiral, like
They always spiral.
The worst. I had I had the worst. Like there was one where I had recently, and there was spiral. It was someone's house, but it was up these really tiny little rickety stairs.
Yeah.
And it was like all the way up. Like there was all these stairs going all the way up because it was above like some shops.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And on the way, it was fine on the way up, but on the way down, I had like 2 suitcases, my coat, my handbag,
That's a lot.
my phone, and I was like, oh, I thought I was going to fall down the stairs. Honestly. It was
and sometimes
crazy.
people don't offer to help.
No, that's what I so in that situation I was livid at the end. I got down to the bottom of the stairs and I was like, I was like, what the hell? Because like the guy behind me, there was someone behind me, and he didn't offer to help. He was just like, he was like trailing behind me and kind of watching, like, how you going? How you doing? And I'm like, you could have like, even if you just grabbed my coat, like I was holding my coat in my hand, I had my suitcases. In hindsight, I should have gone back twice. I should have done it in 2 trips.
But I get it. Sometimes you just, you have to go.
You know, she was getting late, so we had to just get out. You know, like when you're just in that situation where you just need to go. I was like, I need to get out of here. And like, I was like, oh my God, I'm going to fall down the stairs. Like, well, that was bad.
Sometimes I now say that if there's a room available downstairs, it is preferred if we could do that. Because I find that my back has really got affected doing this. Like I see an osteopath, I go for Thai massages all the time.
Really?
And if I don't, it really fucking hurts.
I think, again, after having RN, I think my back went bad because epidural. Like, but it was already bad, and my posture, like probably my posture you probably can see on camera.
Mine's bad,
but like posture, like I'm so bad. But I was actually I don't know if this is good, but I was actually considering Pilates. Like, is that supposed to help with? Because it does hurt your back. Like, you know, you can sometimes be in situations where they only have a chair like this, and you have to do their makeup on a chair like this. And
you don't take a chair, do you?
No, I don't take, because I'm too short. Actually, like if I did used to have a chair, I gave it away to another makeup artist because they're too high for me. You know, those like director's chairs, they're too high. I bought one. I was like, yeah, I'll take it with me. And then I started using it and I was like, ooh, like, I feel like I'm like having to tiptoe when I'm doing them.
It's also another thing to carry though, to be honest.
Exactly.
They're very heavy.
If you've got an office chair or dining chair, that's perfect.
Yeah. And just stick some pillows on top.
Yeah, everyone
just to make them higher.
Sit on pillows and have their legs dangling. It's so funny, but things you have to do.
I really want to talk to you about your kit. And like, what are some of your go-to products, like when it comes to bridal makeup specifically, not for like every day?
Okay.
Like, what do you find yourself going back to again and again?
I'm very like creature of habit with my products. Like I'm like, this is what works for me. This is what I'm going to use. So I have like, I start off with obviously cleansing skin. I don't like, I've seen some people use like glycolic pads and stuff like that. I don't use that.
I'm too scared.
I had one experience where I used a glycolic pad on someone and it caused a reaction. This was on a trial. It wasn't on the actual wedding day. After that I was like, I'm not doing that, because before that I was using them and actually having really good success, because people's skin is a lot more like smoother after they use that. So but I think that then it's like, just recommend it to the client to do themselves, like, and build it up, because if you just do it like suddenly, you know, like even that
it's strong.
It's strong. So I will always cleanse, and then I use a sheet mask to start with. I've got an oil that I use on pretty much everyone, and it just works for everyone. It's so good. And then Embryolisse.
Oh my God, I love Embryolisse so much.
It's so good. It just works for everyone.
Literally every skin type. And it's so moisturizing. It smells good, and you can use it as a mask as well.
Yeah, I use it as a mask. Yeah, I use it as a mask. So it's a primer as well, a makeup primer. So those are like staples in my kit.
Yeah.
And then found eyeshadow palettes wise, I've started using a lot of the Natasha Denona palettes. I really like them.
I've actually not got my hands on one, but everyone raves. But what is the difference? Like,
so I think, right, what the difference is with a cheaper eyeshadow palette versus a more high-end eyeshadow palette is the cheaper eyeshadow palettes have a lot of kick up, right? So they have a lot of like dust that falls
out,
which is fine, because normally I don't know about you, but I normally do the eyes first
always.
But when sometimes I do the eyes and then I do the base and then I go back to the eyes because I'm like, I still need to balance it, all that kind of stuff. So I think that's the main difference, is that they're very soft. Like you almost put them on and they kind of blend themselves. Like you're just like,
are they like creamy almost?
They're not creamy. They're actually quite dry.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I wouldn't say they're creamy.
But why would you pick
They're just very soft. They're soft, but they're not soft where they fall. Like,
so you don't get much fallout. Because with the Mario palette, which is really expensive, I bought the neutral palette. I love the colours, but the fallout.
Oh, really?
And it's terrible packaging.
Yeah,
like,
I don't.
It broke immediately.
Is that the white one?
Yeah.
Yes, I have that one too, and it's sitting in my cupboard. I don't use it.
Same.
I don't really like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of the high-end, I'll be honest, some of the high-end eyeshadow palettes that I've got, I didn't like the formula of them because I found them too rough. I don't know.
I get what you mean.
Like some of the earlier Natasha Denona palettes and some of the Pat McGrath palettes as well. I just found them, like, the formula was too rough. I don't know how to explain it, but these the newer ones, they're very soft and they just blend really nicely. They are nice. They're a bit expensive.
Yeah, they are.
I do like the Too Faced one. Neutral.
Oh, yes.
Nudes. I talk about that one all the time on my page.
Yeah.
Like, I just love it so much.
Have you ever tried the Jordana Tisha neutral palette?
Is it good?
I really like it.
Oh.
It's got, oh my God, it's got tons of shades in it. It does have a bit of fallout.
Okay.
But I think it's great.
I suppose fallout's not too bad if you do the eyes first, right?
Do you know, I don't know if you follow this makeup artist in Toronto, Blue Rose Artistry.
Okay.
Is she based in Toronto or Vancouver? I can't remember.
Yeah.
She does eyes after, and I'm like, how are you doing this?
Oh, yeah.
Because I make such a mess when I'm doing eyes, I'm not going to lie, and I have to clean up under the eyes afterwards. But she does it so elegantly after. I'm like, that would not be me.
Yeah. I definitely do a bit of both. I do, because I like to do the eyes and let the skincare set in while I'm doing the eyes.
Yeah.
And then once the skincare's set and like all like, you know,
that's really important. And this is why people are like, oh, why is my makeup separating? There are other reasons, but one of the main reasons is because you're literally just applying like on top of each other, not letting it actually sit.
Exactly. You need to let it absorb. And it's hard. I know, I get it. Like, some people are like, well, I suppose let's just talk about the everyday person. Like, we're in a rush. Everyone's in a rush all the time. So I get it from that perspective. Like, I always say to people, put your skin prep on and then do something else. Like, you probably still need to brush your hair. Yeah, you probably still need to do that. You probably still need to maybe make yourself a cup of coffee or whatever you need to do. I always do, like, sometimes I have to do my makeup with in the background, like grabbing all my stuff and stuff like that. And I'm like, I can still do it, but I just need to like be a bit more wary of like how long I need to like let things set and what I prioritize. Like, for me, one of my priorities is actually skin prep, because I feel like if you put makeup on top of like bad skin prep, it's just going to look awful anyway. So, and I think that's what people don't really get sometimes. Everyone's always chasing the new product, the next new product. Oh my God, like Huda Beauty's new foundation's coming out now. It's like everyone's like, oh my God, I need that. It's actually, you know what, to be honest, you've probably got foundation in your kit that's exactly the same as it, or very similar to it. It's marketing. And I try not to get, I mean, being a content creator as well, it's hard not to get like sucked into it sometimes, but I try not to, because I'm like, I've got so much makeup, like I don't need
and it's
more.
Not cheap.
But like
Estee Lauder Double Wear used to be like £29.
I know.
It's like 30 something now.
Yeah,
it's
in some
really
places
expensive.
it's like £39.50 or something.
It's ridiculous.
Like, it's such a good foundation though.
I know, it is.
So Estee Lauder Double Wear is definitely in my kit.
Yeah.
Like, it's one of my staples. I really like Dior Face and Body.
Oh yes, I use that sometimes.
But I found a video the other day that said that they've changed the formula, so I was like panicking.
Oh God, it's like Givenchy prison powder. They changed the formula.
I never used that though. Did you? Is it good?
I use it more on maturer skin.
Okay.
Actually,
yeah.
I stick to Huda Beauty for younger skin if they can handle it, because I'm just obsessed with that powder.
Yeah,
and it's
a lot of people love that powder.
Do you not use it?
I've not. No, I've got it. I've
God.
tried it, but I don't know, like sometimes I prefer a powder that's got a little bit of a pigment to it. It does have a little bit of a tint, doesn't it?
But it doesn't give you that extra coverage.
No. Whereas the powder that I use is the Maybelline Fit Me Loose powder.
Oh yes.
And that's got a bit of coverage.
That's hard to get hold of, though, isn't it?
It's, I don't know why they don't sell it in the UK.
Yeah, that's really hard to get hold of.
They sell it on, you can get it on Amazon and stuff like that. But whenever if my husband goes to the US for work or whatever, I'm like, yeah, grab me like one of each colour.
Like
so I've got like
all
all of them. Yeah, like I literally threw one in the bin today because I've used it up completely.
Oh, right.
And that they're hard to use up. It's the same it's very similar packaging to the hooded one.
Yeah.
So there's quite a lot of product in there. And I'm like, wow, I've actually gone through an entire one of these.
Yeah.
I really like, I love that. I love that powder.
Can we please talk about your powder puff? And what do you use? The MAC?
It's
the MAC.
Oh, mineralized skin finish.
That's it.
MAC mineralized skin finish. And this is really interesting because like I had someone, so I do like makeup consultations where like people can like message me and like not message me, like it's over Zoom, so we can chat about, sometimes people have like very specific questions, and like sometimes I'll get DMs of like asking people my whole like, you know, they want me to do a whole like kind of recommendation for them. And I'm like, look, like let's chat over like Zoom or something. So we're talking over Zoom and I was like, she was telling me what she was doing and I was like, oh, you need the mineralized skin finish because the powder she was using was too moisturizing. And mineralized skin finish is it's a baked powder. So it's very like...
For the oily girls.
Yes, for the oily girls. But it's not just... It's a good powder overall because it's baked. It's like... it's almost quite sheer and it's got a bit of a luminosity to it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I definitely do... I do find... I'll be honest. I do find that when I don't do that...
Yeah.
My makeup doesn't come out as good. Like I have to do it.
Yeah.
If I don't do
Your
it,
skin can
the other
handle
day
it.
I didn't do it. And I think it was over stories. I did a story like tutorial, and I used a brush and I packed it on with a brush. And like honestly, I was really disappointed with my makeup that day.
Did you do it today? Because I didn't get to watch the rest of your... See, your skin still looks really glowy.
Yeah, it does. That's what I mean.
It doesn't look powdery.
It doesn't... Because I then... Because let's say, what time did I do my makeup? Probably about 9:30.
Yeah.
And it's like 11:30 and it's been 2 hours.
Yeah.
And then once I put everything on, I powder puffed my face. I did use a setting spray, but that setting spray is like a matte one actually. So... It's just my natural skin. My skin is oily. So it starts to, like, my natural oils start to come through. But because, like, they're coming through, but they're not coming through enough for it to be like, oh my God, it's an oil
Very
slick.
oily.
But that's because I've used quite a lot of powder.
Yeah.
So I love doing people's makeup. I love doing people's makeup that can really take powder. Like, it's so
same.
fun.
Because it doesn't
flawless.
look... Yeah, and it doesn't look cakey.
It looks
when
so
people
good.
are very dry skin, I'm very careful with... I mean, I don't use Huda Beauty on people with dry skin, actually. My favourite powder to use on them is the By Terry, the hyaluronic one.
I've got that one, actually. I've never used it. I need to try it.
My God. If you have pores or if you have dry skin...
Really?
It's incredible. It's literally like butter, and you literally it just reduces the pores immediately.
Oh, really? Oh God, I've got to try it.
And it mattifies you enough but doesn't dry you out, because even if you have dry skin, you still find you need to powder
especially
it,
for like photography. With all the lights on you and everything, like it just captures, it shows every pore on your like face, any bit of texture, any pore, it shows it, right? So it's like you almost need to pat down those areas just a little bit. I mean, I do love a glowy kind of base as well.
It's not practical,
but it's not practical for like a whole long wear day, right?
Yeah. And you can create that dewy look with powders anyway,
with highlight and stuff like that.
Exactly.
Like, yeah, definitely. So it's hard because with social media, it's like all the glowy looks. Everyone's like, I want that glowy look, but they don't realize that for your wedding, it's probably not the most practical thing. Right? It's actually probably gonna like melt away.
It's also not going. It's not going to last as long.
Yeah.
And I think that's. But are you quite honest with your brides? Do you explain that to them?
Yeah, and I say to them, I'm still going to give you a glowy look, but it's going to be set down. Your makeup will be set, and I'll add the glow back in with like setting sprays and like highlighters and, you know, all that kind of stuff. Like there's quite a few different. There's one setting spray. I don't know if you've tried this one. It's the one with oil in it.
The beauty crop one.
Yeah. Have you tried that?
Oh my God, I love it.
It's so good, right?
But
you can't use too much because, like, oh my God, I've tried it. I've used it on people and I'm like, oh my God, it looks really
It depends which one you use. The red one, I find it's just nice and hydrating in between stages. But the one in like that nudie coloured bottle, that one's really good right at the end. But today I thought, it's probably not the best day to try something new.
That one is, isn't it? The nudie colour one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, you're right. But today I tried the Krylon one.
Okay.
You know, the one that's like hairspray. I was like, oh, let me try it today of all days.
Yeah.
And I don't really like it.
Yeah, I don't actually like setting sprays on myself. I used one today as well because I was like, oh, let me just do it.
Yeah.
So I used the Makeup Revolution. There's this one that's like really, really like matte.
Yeah.
Like, hold, like it's like a hairspray. I think a lot of them do the same thing. If I'm honest with you, like they're all quite similar. Like they all contain quite a lot of alcohol, which is one of. I'm always really honest with my brides as well with this. Right, I always say to them, I can use setting spray on you if you want, but setting spray a lot of the setting sprays do contain alcohol, and that's going to dry your skin out over time. And I'm wary of how their skin is going to behave over time. So I might do their skin quite matte, right? Like not matte, but like how my skin is right now is how their skin is going to start to go throughout the day,
which is nice.
Yeah. But if you then interfere with that with setting sprays, I worry that it's going to dry their skin out over time.
So do you not use one?
So sometimes I don't use setting spray. I use a hydrating spray.
Yes.
But I don't always use a setting spray because I just think sometimes especially if they've got dry skin, I just worry about how it's going to like dry up over time. Even though I've done the skin prep and everything, I'd rather not. I already know that the way that I do makeup, it's going to look better over time. So I don't want to like mess with that with setting sprays.
Yeah. It's nice to use a hydrating one just to kind of melt the powders together at the end. But people do get confused between that and an actual fixing spray / like setting spray. I don't. I mean, it wasn't cheap, the Krylon one. I can't remember how much it was, but I remember thinking, whoa, this is expensive.
Even the one that's gone really viral.
One Size. Yeah, One Size is pretty similar to Krylon,
I think they're the same thing. Let's be honest. They're probably the same thing. I mean, the One Size one's really effective. It is good.
Yeah.
But I just think it's so expensive.
I love the powders from One Size.
Yeah,
I use the powders. I think they're pretty similar to MAC, to be honest.
What is it? The foundation?
I've never
tried
powder foundations.
Like the Studio Fix one?
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't tried that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just like to use it at the end. Oh, really? I've not tried that.
The Fenty one is, I think it's got more coverage. So it's actually to the point where, like the other day, someone messaged me, they're like, by the way, if you like the Fenty one, you'll like MAC Studio Fix. I think MAC Studio Fix is not as pigmented. The Fenty one is, I could use it as a full-on foundation and I'd still look like this. I'd still look like this. I'd still have like quite a good full coverage on my face with the Fenty powder foundation. It's so good.
Oh, I'm going to try that.
Yeah, but their shade range is so, every single shade is so orange.
Oh yeah, undertone. You have to do, I'm guessing you have to do a lot of mix. Because I love to use powder foundations after I've powdered just for that extra coverage, just to mix everything together on the face.
I know what you mean.
It just gives it that blurred kind of finish, which I like.
Yeah.
But I've seen a lot about that. I think I'm going to try it because I'm using One Size at the moment. Again, really expensive.
Yeah.
But I've hit the pan on it.
Even the Fenty one, I'm like, huh?
I've hit the pan. Yeah,
so that's the Fenty one. I've actually got through one of them. So I'm like, obviously it does. It's so good for those days where you like, you know, when you wake up really early in the morning for a booking or like you've got to go somewhere really quickly. I take my powder puff. I don't use the one in there. It's rubbish. It's like this big. I use a powder puff, and with the powder puff, what I find good is that you can kind of disperse it around it, and then when you put it on, you get like a really even coverage very quickly as well. So you're not like getting a spot here, it's blotchy. Like you just get an overall like finish.
It's
like.
even.
Yeah.
Do you have a specific shade that you always go back to, or do you just loads of
Fenty?
Yeah, for Fenty.
Fenty 310.
Okay.
Yeah. 310.
310,
it's quite orange. It's quite orange, but
yeah,
sometimes I have to put my MAC one over it to like neutralize the color.
Yeah,
because it's too orange on its own.
Yeah, I did find that with her concealers actually. I mean, it's good for color correcting.
Okay, yeah,
but they're all quite orangey. Do you use color correctors?
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I use like an orange one.
Yeah.
Like the Huda Beauty Mango is probably the best.
Does yours leak?
No, it doesn't. Actually, you know what? Today, as I was leaving, I was like, it was slightly open because I used it today. Yeah. And I was like shutting it. And I was like, I always find like when people come to me for like makeup lessons, they bring their makeup with them.
Yeah.
There's always leak. And
mine leaks.
Mine never leaks. I don't understand.
You're lucky. You got a good batch.
Shape tape.
Yes.
Other people's leaks, like they're leaking all over my table, and like mine I've never had that issue. I've been using shape tape for like 6 years. Yeah. I've never found that.
You always use Tarte, don't you?
Yeah, I love it. I've tried so many concealers, and I just always go back to that one. What's your favorite one?
I use Yeah, I use Tarte a lot actually. I use H&B Cosmetics.
Oh, okay.
It's a very similar formula, but I find it's a bit more hydrating.
A bit more premium.
But I do love Too Faced concealers.
It is very good. That's a very good one.
They're so
I've
good.
got that one in my kit too.
Yeah. It depends if they're oily or dry.
Yeah.
If they have oily skin, I do like to go for the Tarte one because it's got like a semi-matte finish.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But the Too Faced one.
Too Faced one's brilliant for like...
It's amazing.
More mature skin or like drier skin.
Yeah.
I have the Hourglass one as well.
Yes.
Like I didn't like it on myself, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
But I tried it on a mother of the bride recently.
It's good for mature skin.
And it looked so good on her. Like, and I'd done her makeup for the bride's, like all the events. Like it was like the civil, wedding, reception. There was another event. She came for a makeup lesson as well, the mother of the bride.
Aww.
So she's had quite a few events. Like I've done a makeup a few times, and the last time I did it, I used the Hourglass. And I was like, this looks so... You need to buy this concealer. It looks really good on her.
Yeah.
So mature skin, the Hourglass is definitely...
But you can't mix it
as well.
You can't mix it with other... You know, like sometimes like we mix concealers.
Yeah.
You can't mix that one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've done it. It doesn't work.
Oh, I mixed it.
Did it work?
Yeah.
What did you mix it with?
I think I mixed it with the Too Faced.
Oh,
What
okay.
happened when you mixed it then? Did
It just
like,
was
split?
separating. And it happened a few times on different people, and I just took it off and just used different.
Oh, okay.
But if you use it on
right.
its own, and the shade
Maybe it's got oiling or
Topaz is
Topaz.
incredible.
Colour corrector shade, is it?
Yeah, but if you use it on like a mother of the bride or something, and they've got darker circles under the eyes, it just neutralizes it, and then it just sits as a concealer. You don't need to put anything on top.
Oh, okay.
So Topaz is a really good shade.
I don't think I have that one. I think I have
love it.
June.
Oh yeah, Oat.
No, there's another one that looks like a darker shade that's like more my shade that I bought just to see for myself.
Sienna.
No.
I used to work for Hourglass.
Oh, really?
That's the only reason I know the name.
What do you think of Hourglass?
I love Hourglass products. I think they're
so
incredible.
good, aren't they?
They're so expensive, but they're so worth it.
They're so good. I love the palettes, the special edition palettes.
They don't like you get through them. Like it takes ages to get through them, basically.
And they're into touch wood. I'm going to say this because I have dropped a lot of my Hourglass palettes. They seem to be indestructible. They just don't break. I think
they're solid.
I like the baked element of some like blushes, powders. I like the baked ones.
The blushes are incredible.
I don't know. There's something about baked that I think it's like slightly more luminous, slightly drier formula as well.
Yes, it sits on the skin really nice, especially like mature skin as well.
Yeah.
I like to use. Oh my god, all my kit is pretty much Hourglass.
Oh, that's so nice.
I love it. Their lipsticks as well, really long lasting.
Oh,
they're again very. I keep saying it's very expensive.
They are,
but there's
no discount code. Actually, one time my sister found a discount code for Hourglass.
Yeah,
her colleague sent it to her. It was a 50% off discount code. So that's when I bought the concealer.
How much did I used to get when I worked there?
I don't know.
Where she found it? 60%. I think it was 60%.
Top up your kit, isn't it? Find someone who works for Hourglass. Yeah, but that it was online and it did actually work.
Oh my god!
I bought loads of stuff. You know the jelly lip stilos?
Oh,
I bought like every single shade, and I never used them. Because they're nice, but they're okay.
Yeah, I got given one actually when I was working there, and I don't really use it.
Yeah, it's nice, but it's not like.
But then some people swear by it.
Yeah.
So I think it just depends.
Yeah, I just feel like there's cheaper alternatives out there. What am I using at the moment? Like, the YSL. Actually, the YSL one's expensive as well. It's like the I can't remember what they're called, but they're like sheer lipsticks. I don't know. I've
only ever tried YSL foundations, which are amazing.
Yeah.
I don't know why people don't like.
What do you think of TikTok makeup then? You've got the Jordana Tisha. You've tried some
Beauty Crop.
Beauty Crop.
That's all I've tried.
Okay, so the Beauty and the HMV.
Oh,
yes. Beauty Crop under eye powder. It's like a pink powder.
Yeah.
So I think it's called Vitamin Babe or something. There's a pink one and then there's a translucent one. I use the pink one sometimes. I've got that in my kit too. I really like that.
Do you like it? I think I tried the translucent one on myself and I absolutely hated it.
Oh, I wouldn't use it on its own. I use it as like, like sometimes you need something to set before you're going to set.
Yes.
If you know what I mean, right?
Yeah,
so I used it today on myself.
Yeah.
I set it first with that one because it's really, really thin. It's probably a little bit like the Huda one, maybe. I don't know. The Huda one's not that thin. I think it's like thicker than that. I feel like the Huda one is in between.
The Beauty Crop one is a lot thinner. I think.
It's really thin. So sometimes I use that, or again on mature skin, it's quite nice because it doesn't look like you're wearing any. They doesn't look like they're wearing any powder.
Yeah.
So I used it underneath, and then I went over it with my Maybelline one afterwards.
So you do a lot of like, you don't just do the brides, you do a lot of the mums as well.
So if I'm doing the bride, I will do the mum. Sometimes the mum and the sister, depending on timing.
True.
But yeah.
But then do you charge the same?
No.
Or do you charge
like party price? Yeah.
Oh, fine. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, what are some of your favourite lipsticks actually? Because
lipstick.
you always go on about Colourpop.
Yeah. Oh my god, I got a Colourpop one on today.
Their eyeshadows are really nice for them.
Oh my god, Colourpop lip liners. I went through. I feel like I think I have ADHD because honestly, I got really hyper fixated on this one lip liner that I used by Colourpop.
Yeah.
And I got so hyper fixated on it, I couldn't sleep because I was like, this one that lip liner is probably about that big now. I've used it so much, and it's the only lip liner I've ever got through that much, and it was limited edition. So now I'm like looking around for it. If you've got that lip colour, it's called Wild Nothing lip liner. Please let me know. I'll buy it off you. No, but Colourpop lip liners, I love their lippy sticks as well.
Yeah, I've never tried.
Those are for personal use. I wouldn't use those on clients because they're quite you can't sharpen them. They're like
the twisty ones,
and they're like, I don't know how to explain it. It's like a lip liner formula, but then they dry down like a lipstick. So it's like in between a lipstick, lip liner, and a lip crayon. It's
and long lasting
lippy sticks. Yeah, they're long lasting as well. I personally think they are. Some people have said to me like, I don't think they are, but I think they're really good. They're like really, really creamy as well. I like creamier lip liners. I know some people like drier lip liners. I prefer.
No, I like creamy.
So I love Colourpop for personal use or like, for yourself. For my kit, I like Bobbi Brown lipsticks. I have quite a few Bobbi Brown ones. Lip liners, I have loads of Colourpop lip liners in my kit.
Yeah.
Peaches and Cream. I love their colours.
Oh,
they're so beautiful.
My God. Their lip liners are amazing.
They're so nice. And they're just like the perfect kind of shades of brown for like
us.
Brown skin tone. Yeah. And there's like, you can get them in a set, can't you? Have you seen the sets that you can get? I think there's like 4 you can get. And all of them are like great. I
love them.
I think some of the lighter ones don't really work on
They're decently priced as well,
I
think.
They're so good. They're so decently priced. What other lipsticks do I use? And then I have some liquid lipsticks.
Oh, yeah. I do like using liquid lipsticks just because they last long.
Yeah. The Huda Beauty liquid lipsticks are probably my favourite formula.
Have you tried the Kylie ones?
No, I've never tried the Kylie ones.
I do like that.
They are good. Okay. So I might try those.
I don't like her lip liners.
Really? I've never tried her lip liners.
Firstly, the packaging is really poor. Yeah. It's really hard to sharpen them. But also the colours aren't the best. But you can't buy the liquid lipstick without the lip liner sometimes.
Oh, yeah, you have to buy the lip kit. That's what she invented, the lip kits, didn't she?
So.
So Huda Beauty is probably my favourite liquid lipsticks.
Yeah.
She used to do the minis. I loved them for like the kit. Oh, they were so good. But I don't think she does them anymore.
I think she does them sometimes.
Yeah, they like come in like a little set, and I bought like the red ones, the nude ones,
the
pink ones.
I got the nude
all
ones.
of them, and I had to throw them out because I think they were really old. So when they were used up, I'd use them. So I was like, I need to throw these out, and now I haven't replaced them with like more. I just have to buy the full ones, but I haven't done that either because that's painful. I need some liquid lipstick recommendations that are on like Look Fantastic so I can use my code. Because like all my vouchers, because otherwise no.
It's gone up in price. Everything's gone up.
Everything is so expensive now.
What do you have any like tips or anything for like upcoming, well not upcoming brides, but brides who are planning for 2025? Because I think a lot of brides think that they don't need to do any like skincare things beforehand, and that will magically wave our wand and their skin will be flawless.
I hope that people are starting to realise that that's not the case anymore. Yeah. Like I think there's a lot of people out there telling people, good skin prep makes good makeup, and so good skin prep, good not just good skin prep, good skin makes good makeup, right?
Diet as well.
There's only so much we can do. Like drink your water, do your hydrating steps. Like I always say to most people have a decent skincare routine, like they've got a good cleanse tone moisturizer routine. Sometimes they need to do some extra hydrating in the evenings. I just tell people to get like a not so expensive rosehip oil, like maybe like The Ordinary.
I use that.
Get that, use that at night. Whatever else you need to do, like some people use retinol, whatever it is, then use the rosehip oil. It just is such an inexpensive way to just get like hydration into your skin, and an oil is just going to absorb really nicely. So I find sometimes people their skin is too dry, basically. It's too dehydrated. And then the more dehydrated your skin is, the more you're going to get creasing, right? Because everyone generally has crease. Like, we all have creasing in our face, right?
We do.
You know, where you smile, you're going to get smile lines. Like, some people's smile lines are just really, really deep.
Yeah.
And it's just the way it is. But if you hydrate, you drink water, you hydrate your skin well, you use SPF, I do say vitamin C is quite good because it will help with hyperpigmentation.
Yeah.
Just those steps. If you could go to a specialist, a skin specialist.
Yeah.
You don't need to, I feel, but have like regular facials.
Yeah.
Because I think that is maintenance. And your diet is important as well, I suppose.
I always recommend, if they can, like for my brides and stuff, even just party clients, to go see my skin specialist. I rave about her all the time because she's transformed my skin.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she's in Denham actually, so
okay.
She's local.
I'll need to know.
Yeah, and she has honestly transformed so many of my brides' skin, and it makes makeup application
of course
so much more like better because it's just a bit more flawless.
Yeah, definitely.
And then the bride's happier as well. So it does make a difference.
And I think this year, one thing I've noticed is that I've had a lot of brides who've had really good skin. Like, I'm like, you guys are doing the work. And so I think people are starting to realise now, like and that's why, like, one thing that is really difficult is people who have trials really early on. Like, you know, if you have a trial like a year before your wedding, you know you're going to work on your skin. You know that everything, you're going to work on your diet.
Yeah.
All these things impact your skin. You know you're probably going to go and see a skin specialist. You know you're going to drink more water. You're probably going to work on your skincare routine. Some people don't even have a skin routine.
Yeah.
They come for the trial and their skin is not in the best shape. So there's only so much we can do. Like, yes, we'll skin prep, we'll do everything we need to do, but your skin is not going to look like this in a year time. You have to bear that. It was so hard to like explain to people that you've still got a year to go, and like makeup doesn't do everything. Like, it's not going to sort of solve all your problems. You have to.
But I think with all these filters and stuff, it does have its psychological effects. People do think they can look like that, and
I think also be realistic about your age as well. Like, if you're a bit older, or you're like not really younger, because it doesn't really matter for that. But if you're older, don't compare yourself against a picture of a bride that is like 10 years younger than you, because that's not a good comparison. You need to be realistic. Sometimes I can't tell people's age until I've done their makeup, because makeup,
the way it sits
differently on older people, right? So you'll be like, without makeup they look younger, and then you put the makeup on, you're like, okay, you are a bit older.
Yeah,
you can't
just
tell
because of the way it's sitting.
Yeah, so it's like, I think sometimes the older generation are the ones that are not doing the skin prep and looking after their skin, because they think, well, I've never had to do anything all this time.
Yeah.
And I might as well just leave it. Like, why not? Like,
and without makeup, your skin is going to look a bit more hydrated.
Yeah, and if you just use a little bit of BB cream and stuff like that, it's going to look fine. But if you're going to do like bridal makeup, then it's different. It shows.
Different game altogether. So. Oh my God. Well, thank you so much for coming today.
Worries.
That was really, I honestly could have talked to you
I know
for a lot longer. There's so much I want to talk to you about, but maybe we'll have you again if you're up for it. But what are your Instagram or YouTube, or like what are your social handles?
My social handles are the London Beauty Stylist on pretty much everything. That's my makeup content creation kind of one. I do have another one that's like for my brides. It's like called Brides by Manisha. I separated them out because I just felt like
I've done that as well.
Yeah,
it's just nice, especially when people are
because you can't sometimes it's hard to find my bridal work on the London Beauty Stylist, because I have so many like videos that of me doing makeup.
It does get a bit confusing then. That's why I decided to keep it separate as well, so then that is just purely bridal and girls can just look at the looks that they want and then save them.
It's like more like a portfolio, really. So TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. I have got
what's
a
your
YouTube channel, but like not really. I've posted like 1 or 2 videos on there
I did
before.
that as well.
It's so hard to stay consistent on everything. It's like sometimes I just think just pick one and just stick with that one.
I know, I've got so many, it is hard to keep up.
But
what was your TikTok handle as well?
It's the London Beauty Stylist.
Okay, so that's like the main name.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
No worries.
And we'll definitely have you back. But that's it for today, guys. So we will see you in the next episode. Bye, guys.
Bye.